Good morning, Rabbi Sai. I'm going to show you how that all began and went. But Lili Nishma Simi Mirasi Ruspas Mordechai, somebody sent in a Gevaldika video of all the Good Morning Rabbi Sais, and I didn't even know about it until I got back to the hotel, and then I saw that it fits right in with another Good Morning that I did today to add to the whole collection. Rabbi Sai, Sefer Torah gift, the Klaf, Shmois, first half, sponsored by Sol Fishy, a Moishele Fisher. Moishele. And Vayikra, the first half, the Akila family. And Bamidbar, Meir Chaya Rivka Fishel, that's the original. He's the first one that took it. Parshias, what's new for Parshias? Tzav, by Naftali Palchik family, Vayera. He donated that last Shabbos, he was here. And Ari Fishel, what's that? What did he donate? Oh, I got it. Tzav, Naftali Palchik family. Vayera, Ari Fishel. Bahaloischa, Jack and Marlene, super. Shkoyach. The special psukim, well, every pasuk is special, but these mean something to someone. Naftali Salman, Shmois, Tezayin, Tezva, Vayiru b'nei Yisrael, Vayomer Ishalel, Ochiv, Mon, who? You got the Mon one. The Konigsberg family, V'samu Shmiel b'nei Yisrael, V'ani Avar Acheim, and Avram Tikotsky, Vayitzak Moishel Hashem Lemor, Keil no Refa no lo. Rabbi Sai, Rebelli, please don't keep us in suspense any longer. How is your 15-year-old? My 15-year-old son fell, and we thought he might need surgery. We thought he might have broken both of his arms. And Benny Rodnick, who's sitting to my left here, ran around with him with the doctors for 3 days until he was able to get insurance. Didn't want to pay it because we're tourists, the whole Maisa. But we got it done, and Baruch Hashem, he doesn't need surgery. We sent him to a specialist, right? And he got a X-rays, but then he got a CAT scan, and then they decided he doesn't need surgery. So now he's here in the hotel with us, Baruch Hashem, with one broken arm. How's he feeling? Wishing him a refuah shlema, b'kar of mamish. If he would have broken both of his arms, he wouldn't have heard the end of it from his brothers. Like, what kind of athlete breaks two arms, you know? You devoted Talmud Sinsaita, Dr. Meir Wickler. Yisrael David, MDY, one big family. Dear Rebelli, I want to let you know that what you're doing is great. You've helped me a lot. I feel that MDY is one big family. I'm 11 years old, and so far I have learned 380 dapim with MDY. And I'm still doing it every day. Thank you, Rebelli. You've changed my life. I love when an 11-year-old say it. Gewaldig. I just want to say Yeshua Koyach. Thank you, Rebelli. So we have with us Azriel Katz. The last name is Katz. Alex's son. He's here. Hold on. We should turn the camera around for Azriel. Moir the Kamai. So listen to the story about Azriel. Azriel and Alex are walking out of MDY one day, and a guy walks over and said, you know, the water bottle is... Said the guy had a baby boy, but he didn't know what to name his kid. And because Israel came to Shir and I called him up, the guy said, I'm going to name my baby Israel. So people are naming their kids after you, Israel. It's a big schos. And it's real. How many daf did you do with us? How many? A lot. We're not counting. It's Ayin Hara. Good evening, Rebelli. I would start with the typical, you changed my life, but it's too cliche by now, but it actually did. People have asked how it started, the famous Good Morning Rabbi Zai. So here's a small montage of the past years. Thank you so much for everything, your talent. So it's a little slow. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I'll just a little bit, and then we'll go jump into today's. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Rabbi Zai. Good morning, Rabbi Zai. Good morning, Rabbi Sai. 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 Thanks for not joining the Makes it very weird. Good Rabbi Sai. And now we're going to fast forward to today. So we're live in the Alps of Austria, More Rabbi Masech Hashem. Today it was one of my favorites. I liked it a lot. Did you like it? It was amazing. So you go to this place, it's a half hour away from here, you pay €25 and the gate opens up and you go in, you could drive this very, very narrow road, which could only hold one car, but there's a bus that goes back and forth. So when the bus comes towards you, you have to figure out what to do. Sometimes you have to drive backwards, sometimes you go into the mud, if there's a way to go into the mud, but there's a lot of cows, a lot of nature, a lot of Alps. You're in the Alps, like literally you feel the Alps. I know that there's a place literally 3 minutes away from here, you can take the bus. Is the $6 free or you have to pay?
They give you a card here.
You go to the front desk, so you take the $6, and it's like 10 minutes from here? Oh, something very similar. It's like a reserve. And at the end of this whole thing, there's a lake. So I'll just show you here.
Good morning, boys.
You're in it. They're everywhere. I hope you're doing well. Baruch Hashem, I managed to secure sponsors for the MDY Kids Manchester program. Very proud of them. As you can see from the picture below, everything else is now in place. I'm very grateful to Hashem that it's all come together. The only thing that I'm still missing is a screen. If there's any possibility that MDY would be able to help provide one, it would make a tremendous difference. How's he feeling, Taka, the guy that gives out the screens? You know what I'm talking about? He's a pilot, flies planes.
It's okay.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. What do you do? Huh?
There's a few after him already.
Yeah. Please note that only half the boys came because they had the weekend off. Shlomi Schechter, Yankee Gottman, Eitz Chaim Satellite Location, Manchester, Givaldic. Check this out, Rabbi Yisai. What do you do minutes before brain surgery? Dear Rabbi, I figured this might be a first. My friend had brain surgery last week. I've been hacking China him. Another hacking a Chinik is what he means to say. For a while to start doing the daf with you. Oh, like on that video I showed you. My wife sent me a video of him doing the daf with you right before going for brain surgery. Baruch Hashem, all went well. For Shleimet to Daniel Yosef, Ben Golda Hinda. Simcha Firestone, Boca Raton. Since the last couple of daf of Megillah. It is crazy. He's wearing the whole contraption and everything. Crazy. Yep. Beautiful stuff. This was the Hebrew Shir. Oh, so Shkia is like close to 10 o'clock at night. The fast is over at 10:20. So I gave Shir from 9:15 to 10:05 p.m. Then we dive in Ma'ariv, and then we broke the fast. They had a milchik meal and then a fleishik meal, a whole Israeli matzav. But it was good stuff. Oh, there is a car show of antiques. Somebody look it up. My son looked it up. He said that this car right here is worth $1.5 million. It's a Lamborghini Countach, I think you pronounce it. It's a 1970 something. He said it's $1.5 million. So we get off the road. And just the whole background, the Alps in the background is unbelievable. And then just to show you, that's my granddaughter scaring a cow away. The cow ended up running away. But that's the setting. Yichap. Ilan, does it look good? Similar to what you did?
Beautiful. Yeah.
And then at the end, there's two lakes. We went to the wrong one. Not the wrong one, but there's one that's easier to get to with a car. You just drive up to it. This one you had to walk 3 minutes, which is not a big deal. But I think the other one might be a little nicer or something. You could get to it. This one, you're further up. Is that similar to the lake you saw here?
Yeah.
Same kind of.
The other one, you're closer, is more developed. There's like a power plant, there's a park, there's places to sit. It's nice.
Got it. Okay.
700,000 to 1.5 million, depending on the finishes.
Oh, so that it could be 1.5 million.
The used one or brand new one?
1 and 2 million. Givaldic. Okay. Yeah, but that's one out of, we saw about 100 of them. Not of that, a lot of them were Mercedes. The, 1935 Mercedes. This a whole. You got me the book. So I went over. Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. I mean, if you're into it, there was a T model or whatever. 1914, I think it was. 1914 was the earliest, and then it just goes up. But I'm saying we're driving this way. They're coming towards us. There's one after another. So eventually, I just pulled over with the background of the Alps, and we started taking pictures. My son got on his stomach and took some pictures. It was good stuff. Oh, I like this video, Grada. This isn't for the Hebrew guys. Then we can learn. Actually, I got to do some sponsors. The official edition of the White Shots of Sechlet Zevin Yal Sholov Perek Ilan and Mary Davidovich, Lilishmas Yishai Ben Aaron and Yochevet Chava Itel Bas Avram, his grandparents, Daf Samach Dalet, Ari and Iri Friedman, Lilishmas Yisrael Ben Moshe Leo Alevi Riftar Chai Tammuz Tovshin Samach Vov. The Masechet David Solomon, dedicated memory of Avi Mori Reb Shmuel Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doi Zechron Levracha. The Policy of Family Foundation in honor of the MDY Latin America and their warm hospitality. Anonymous Hatzlach Baruch Niziv Gashmis, and thank you to Chief Benny Shmuel and Ahova Schuster for continuing Hatzlacha and Nachas from our children. Anonymous for complete refuah statement. Arichas Yom Talei Bas Esther, B'Yom and Daniel Rosenfeld, Brios v'Simcha. Monthly sponsors Anonymous, Leonishmas Yonatan Eitan Ben Mordechai Zev HaKoyin Zichron Levracha. The Tzviz, Leonishmas Yonatan Eitan Ben Mordechai Zev HaKoyin Zichron Levracha. By Ari Simon for Shtema of Imari Baruch Ben Miriam. Weekly sponsors, the Spanish year sponsors, a bigger for Shtema to a close friend, Naftali Harris Ben Chaya Pesia. Daily sponsor Scott Laffman, in memory of our father and his Yarzai today, Moshe Dov Ben Yerucham Fischel, New Jersey, and NJ and AH Hassett. Oh, not New Jersey. NJ and AH Hassett, in honor of our dear son Aaron on his 14th birthday. Gibraltar MD Wire since Nadarim. We're so proud of you. Wow, that's a long time ago. How long was Nadarim?
2 years ago.
So when he was before his bar mitzvah, when he was 12. Givaldik. MDY Art, Mondler, Forshtema, Mordechai Ben Esther, Lefus Ayel, Daniel Zev, Ben Ayel Esther. So, Rabbi, we're holding 12 lines from the bottom, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines from the bottom. So, I have two questions that throw the oilam for a loop. A cow that dies without shechita, we said, is an avela. What about a cat and a dog? Also an avela. What about a rat? Avela. What about a snake? I really can't answer. You were here for the other shir. A snake is not an avela. It's not mitam an avela. Why? Because there's only shmoina shratzim. A snake is a sheretz, but it's not in the 8 shratzim, which I should have put in the little break that we had here. I should have put that shmoina shratzim. Oh, here it is, shmoina shratzim. It's in here. Somebody put it in. Shkoyach. So it's not one of these. These are the shmoina shratzim, and a snake is a sheretz. It's not in this. So maybe that's not mitama. What about its egg? Also not. Now, we're going to be discussing eggs today, all types of eggs. The siman of eggs, does it have a siman? Not. And another question, what happens if a chick hatches from an egg and its eyes are closed and you shecht it? How long do you have to wait until you can eat it? Israel, only Israel can answer. How long do you have to wait until you can eat it? If its eyes are closed and you shecht it right away, right when it's born.
Right when it's born, then you have to wait till it's...
Till it's... Anyway, it's a trick question. So one mandomer says you're not allowed to eat it at all. It's a disgusting thing. It's a sheretz. Another mandomer says it's okay. We're going to see one mandomer today. So, Omar Rebbe Yitzchok, 10 lines from the bottom. Oif tahar nechal b'mesoires. If you have a tradition that this bird is tahar, you're allowed to eat it, even though you don't know that you don't see the simon kashrus, nothing. But you have a tradition, this is a kosher bird. Now, since 11,000 birds are kosher, and only 24 out of the 11,000 are non, so you can rely on the Messiahs. Nemanat Sayed, a hunter, you could trust the hunter, Loimar, Oivzet Tar, Masarli Rabbi. My Rebbe told me that this bird is kosher. That's what a hunter could say. So the Gemara is going to explain what does a Rebbe mean. Is the Rebbe in Torah or is the Rebbe in hunting? Doesn't even make sense he should be the Rebbe in hunting. But at the end of the day, the Gemara says he's the Rebbe in hunting. He's a hunter Rebbe. He could be a big Amharis, doesn't know how to learn a word. But he's a Rebbe in hunting. And you can rely on him, he tells you what's kosher, what's not. We can only trust him when he knows the names of these birds, of the 24 tummy birds, and he knows what they look like. When you tell me that the hunter says, this is what my Rebbe told me, Rabbi Chacham or Rabbi Tzayir? Are we talking about a Rebbe in Torah or Rebbe in hunting? Tashma, I'll prove it to you, Shabaki Bahen Ubishmesem, that he has to be familiar with them and their names. Now, the Gemara says, how would a Chacham know what they look like? He's a big gadol, he knows how to learn, he knows names, but he doesn't know what they look like, he's never to the zoo. If you're saying he's a hunter, Shapir, makes a lot of sense, he knows what they look like. Eli Rabbi Chacham, I can understand, he knows all 24 names by heart, but how would he know what they look like? So it must be that we're talking about a Rebbe who taught him about birds and how to hunt birds, but he's not the Rebbe in Torah. Shmamino. Tanu Rabban, brand new sugya. Loichim beitzim min hoivdei gechavim b'chol makom. Benny went out there, went to this store. Vol mit guten Sachen, good stuff. Das fühlt sich gut an. It feels good an. I don't know what that means. In the spout. So we bought some eggs. Let me show you some of these eggs. They're very special. So they almost look like tomatoes. There's one egg. And these come boiled. How do I know? Because I dropped one on purpose. I don't know if we should do it here. Dropped it, cracked a little bit, but they're hard boiled. But this, they sell this in Europe everywhere. I don't know, like in America, I don't know if they do this. I don't remember seeing these. I remember going to the stores when I go skiing, and you always see these weird eggs. Are these kosher eggs? So based on what the Gemara tells us, one of the simonim, at least from the outside, they look very kosher. Because kad v'chad. It's round on one side, right over here it's round, and sharp over here. So that's what a chicken egg looks like as well. It has a pointy side and a rounder side. These are quail eggs, which should be kosher. Now, how do you know they're quail eggs? Maybe they're eagle eggs. Now, I'm assuming an eagle egg is much larger, but let's say. So you can rely on the guy. The guy tells you, hey, these are quail eggs. Now, if he tells you they're kosher, it's not good. He has to tell you what name. He has to tell you these are quail eggs. Okay? Even in the Alps of Austria, in every place, you could buy eggs from a guy. So here's two things that could be a big problem. What if the chicken died and you remove the eggs from the chicken? That's an avela. That would be also for you to eat midrabanan. There's another problem called a treifa. Treifa is what if a chicken has a defect in its heart, a defect in its lungs, a defect in its sagidin, like we learned the other day. The tendons are ripped. Then that would be also to eat the chicken, but you'll also be also to eat the egg of that chicken midoraisa. So first, the kasha, the question is, so then how do we eat eggs today? Maybe the egg was laid by a mother chicken who has a broken sagid and has a hole in the. Eventually, when they shechted, they toss the chicken away. They say we can't eat it. It's not good for this hechsher. Shalom. So what do? Same question is asked about milk. How can you drink milk from an animal that's treif? Now that's a harder question to answer than the eggs. When it comes to an egg, you can look at the individual egg and say, okay, this is an egg, and it has a roiv or not treif, great. But when it comes to milk, the milk mixes in with other milk, and even though roiv is okay, but within it now, you certainly have one cow that's treif out of the 100, and it's milk mixed in with the others, and you're drinking treif milk. Because every cup of milk is going to have a mixture of all the milks. So they deal with it, and we go with roiv, and we're not concerned, especially chickens that lay eggs don't have as many problems as the chickens that we eat today. That's what they say. So, ayin sham. Ask the Gemara, how could you eat his eggs? Maybe it came from a bird that's in the list of Tamei birds, the 24 Amav. With the Shmuel Ba'omer Shaloiv Pleni Tar, is because the non-Jew tells you it comes from this quail bird. That's tar. Okay, and the idea is that something that you can detect and figure out later that he's lying, he's not going to lie about. So since he says it's quail bird, and you could go online and check out this particular picture, ask ChatGPT what this is, or you go to your friend who, it looks like a work of art actually. Each one is a different, it's crazy. It looks like somebody drew on it. Different eggs, okay? Now, it's very important to see this. This is how an egg develops into a bird. And then we eat it. Givaldik. So, says the Gemara, V'leima shaloif tar. Why does the idol worshiper have to tell him what bird it is, that it's a quail? He should just say it's a kosher bird. No, he could always wiggle his way out of it, and he'll say, oh, I meant another bird. But now that he said it's a quail bird, now he's in a corner, he's not going to lie about it, because you could catch him easy. As the Gemara, why do you rely on the non-Jew? Doesn't every egg have its own simanim, its own signs to tell you that it's kosher? The sign of simani beitzin kach simani dagim. Just like eggs have their own siman, so too fish, or the siman of an egg is like that of a fish. Ask the Gemara right away before we go on. Simani dagim so gadaydach snavik eskezes amar rachmana. The Torah tells you that a fish has scales, fins and scales. We know eggs don't have fins and scales. Ela what it meant to say is kach simani ubrei dagim, that the caviar, the fish eggs, have similar simanim as an egg. So the kosher caviar would be kad v'chad, as Gemara explains in a second. Eluheim. So I don't know, there's a picture in Sichas Chullin that he explained it like this, that even the way that it lays in the stomach of the fish is like a egg, not a round thing, like in a non-kosher fish. It's like this versus like an egg shape. Not so much that each individual looks like an egg. Zog the Gemara. Elim simoni beitzim, top of Samach Daled Amud Aleph. These are the signs. Kol shekederes va'agul goylas. Every egg has to be round but a circle, meaning a circle could be a flat pancake, could be a circle, but it has to be round and a circle. Rosh echad kad, v'rosh echad chad tahira. If the bottom is circular and the top is pointy, then it's tar. In Hebrew, they say chad means like a sharp one. So they say that a guy in yeshiva who's really sharp, but he doesn't have any sitzfleisch, he can't sit because his bottom is sharp, so he's constantly jumping up and down, he's not going to be successful in learning, even though he's a very sharp guy. He has to be sharp in his head, but he has to have the ability, rounded, he has to have the ability to sit and use his sharp head. So that's a siman of tahira. Shnei Roshei Kadin or Shnei Roshei Chadin Tmein. If both heads, both sides are pointy, like this. Oh, I didn't show so many pictures in the Hebrew. On the one on the right, both of them are pointy. The one on the left, both of them are round. That's why I wasn't sure if this is a chicken egg. This should be a chicken egg, but it kind of looks.
It's points from both sides.
It's round on both sides to me. This one is a little pointier. Little point. Okay. I can hear that. So, just to show you how they sell these in Europe, they come in a 6-pack. In America, it's probably 24. You know, like. No, it's not 12. 12-pack is old time. This is small shops. The 18s, yeah, 18s. 12 is like 2 at a time. And oh yeah, that's right. In Israel, they sell those big squares. Yeah, exactly. 30. Okay, moving on. So says the Gemara, Rosh Chadim Torah. Shnei Chadim Tmei. Oh, Chelba Mivachutz v'Chelba Mivnim Torah. Israel, come here. You tell the Olam what I told you in the other shir. Let's see if you remember. You go. Oh yeah, you got it. Come, Israel. Look at this one. This is a fake. This guy. Okay. What's chelbain? White or yellow?
Chelbon is the white.
How do you know?
Because it's chalav in Hebrew, and that's milk, so it's white.
Excellent. And what's chelmain?
Lemon, because it's limon, so it's the yellow.
Yellow. So chelmain is yellow. Chelbain is the white.
Yeah.
How do you know how to say it in English? Chelmain in English?
The egg yolk.
Woo! How do you know that? You're not supposed to know. You're Israeli, no? You're not supposed to know these fancy words. Okay, great job. So I said in the Hebrew shir that the sign that I work with, chelboin is like chalav. It has ches lamed beis. Chalav is milk, which is white. So you know that's the white part of the egg. Chelmoin is like limon. It's like a lemon. That's yellow. Okay, great. It has nothing to do with reality. It's just the way to remember it, because it could get confusing. Like if you like that, you go do a few more lines, and all of a sudden it says chelmoin mibifnim, chelboin mibachutz. So, okay. Here it goes. Chelboin mibachutz, the white on the outside. That's like a typical chicken egg. V'chelmoin mibifnim, and the yolk is in the center. Taira. That's great. But if you have the reverse, chelmoin mibachutz, v'chelboin mibifnim tmeya. Now, everybody discusses what in the world is chelmoin mibachutz v'chelboin mibifnim. We're not familiar with any eggs that have the yellow on the outside and the white on the inside. So they have different pirushim. Ayin sham. Chelmoin v'chelboin muravim zeh b'zeh. If there's a mixture, b'yadua she bases hasheret, something like that. The turtle, they go into different things where you can find something similar. Okay. Zog the Gemara, I don't think you'll find one of these yellow on the outside with the different species of bird. So the Gemara's question is, why do you have to trust a non-Jew to tell you if it's kosher or not? Just look at its egg. Says Gemara, you can't look at it, you can't tell because he bought the yolk and the white part. They were already cut. In other words, they already cracked the egg open. As the Gemara of okay, so they cracked it open. But you could see, is the white on the outside or the white on the inside? Says Gemara, but trufa is bikar. They're already beaten. They already made a egg mixture. They sell that already. You know, like you can go probably to Costco or whatever, buy one of these milk cartons. They're ready, and you just pour it out. You make all your eggs. So that's why we can't tell. We have to rely on the non-Jew to tell me, hey, these eggs are of kosher species, which is interesting because they discuss this also. But the whole point is that you can catch the non-Jew if he's lying. But how can you catch him? It's already in a mixture. You'll never be able to catch him. How can you say, oh, this is not a quail egg, this is something else? They all look the same, it's all mixed in. Okay, it's discussed. Says the Gemara, How could you purchase a mixture of eggs? A beaten egg. It says before you're not allowed to buy from a guy a beaten egg. You should not sell a treif egg, an egg that came from a treif. What's a treif egg? Egg that came from a treif chicken. The egg itself is perfect, but it came from a treif chicken. So the egg itself is a treifa. You shouldn't sell it to the guy. Why? Because he'll turn around and he might sell it to the Jew. But LMK, true of Bakara. If it's beaten, so then you're allowed to sell to the guy. Why? Because no Jew will buy it from him. You see that nobody's going to buy it from him. That means you're not allowed to buy a beaten egg from a guy. So why are you telling me that he bought beaten eggs from the guy? So obviously, this whole idea that the egg is round and it's pointy, and the chelmain and the chelbain, that's all stuff that we said, Chacham said, but it's not in the Torah. So then why is it needed? So the Gemara is going to discuss that. Because if you don't say that that's just the Rabbanan thing, there are 8 birds that we don't know what they are. We have a suffix. What's the problem? They do. See what kind of eggs they lay. If they have the simanim of a kosher bird, then the kosher. See from the fact that the Gemara says that these 8 birds remain a suffix. There's no way to determine whether or not they're kosher birds from their eggs. So then why do we have this brayso that tells us, oh, you should know a kosher egg is round on the bottom and sharp on top, just like a good yeshiva bacher? What's the point? The Gemara is telling us, if you see that they're equal on both sides, they're both pointy, both round, then for sure it's treif. Or if the yolk is on the outside and the white is on the inside, this is all these cases are tamei. But reish echad chad, if one head is pointy, reish echad chad, and one head is round, that's a good siman. And the yolk is in the right places in the center. And then comes the non-Jew after you see all these signs. This is a quail bird and it's kosher. Why? Because I looked at this egg. Mom's like this. I take a look at this quail egg, if I could grab one without cracking it, and I say, this egg is round over here and pointy over here. It has good signs. And then the guy says, Mom, she tells me it's a quail egg. He writes on the box, it says right over in the box, quail pack. I don't want this to fall on my thing, but it says here, quail pack, right over here. Could you see? No. Anyway, it says it. So I could trust him. Why? Because it started out with this. That's why I need simanim. But if the non-Jew doesn't tell me what it is, bistama, you can rely on him. Bistama, he didn't say what bird it is. He says, you should know it's kosher. He didn't tell me, he didn't say it's a quail. You're not allowed to rely on him. Because there are the raven birds, which are very similar, here's the video, they're very similar to the pigeon bird. And Mamela, I can't rely on him. Okay. So, what's that video? I forgot what it's for. And here it is without music. Mamish in the Alps with a beautiful waterfall in the background. I wish we had a place like that. That's like Stubenfall. Okay. But Stubenfall is like double the height of that. Without music, come on. The music is the whole thing. The broken, They're giving me non-kosher eggs or kosher eggs. They tell me it's kosher. These are obviously Nishkan Yidden. Loy Mishaluni. Putting the eggs in the cholent, Sephardi cholent.
Oh,
It's a raven. You got to be careful when you get from the. Can't trust. How did he get? He's like 3 times the size of the egg he came out of.
Green.
Huh?
Ravens are green, though. That was white.
No, the Gemara says that the here. Dika the arva the dominant the aina. The raven egg is similar to the pigeon egg. Whatever that means. You mean because I showed that slide of the Gemara says it's not. There's some that are similar. Maybe there was a white raven that we had yesterday. Okay. Amar chelboin v'chelmoin muravim zebazeh. When you have the white and the yellow mixed with each other, now I know which is what, because Israel told me, chelboin is the white, chelmoin is the yellow. Muravim zebazeh. V'yiduashi beitzas hasheretz. You should know that this is a non-kosher animal. This is more of a sheretz animal. What's the point? Rikma means that it started developing. The embryo started developing. Once it starts developing, it has the halacha of a sheretz. And therefore, v'nikva kadasha, if the egg has a small tiny hole, the size of a lentil. Now, if I touch the egg, if I touch the shell, I don't become tummy. Oh, let's try it. This is not a good idea, but let me see.
2 layers.
Wow. Here. Nikva. I just did a nekev, the size of a lentil. Now I'm going to touch it. So, since I touched it, and it started developing, so I just touched the sheretz. And a sheretz is metama b'chadasha. It's actually much more than a chadasha, but the opening is a chadasha. So, metama. That's the chiddush here. You should know that you became tummy because you just touched the sheretz. You just touched the egg of a turtle. Mascular vino, maybe it's the egg of a snake. And the egg of a snake is not metama. Why is the egg of a snake not metama? Here we go. Here's the eggs of snakes. It's not metama because it's not one of the shmoyne shratzim. Who told me I'm tummy? So what's the nafkamina? Why do you tell me about that? If it's a mix, yellow and white, it's that of a sheretz. Not touching. If you ate it, now you're over. You have to bring a carbon. If somebody warned you, you're over. If somebody didn't, you should bring a chatos. If they warned you not to eat it, you get malchus. There's 3 lavim of eating a sheretz al aretz. Yeah, if there's asra, you get malchus. I feel the Torah Nami should have the same exact isser of eating an egg, even if it's an egg of a chicken. If you eat, here, tell, you're doing a video? Dat was een video zelf. Zoek zij, fällt noch eins, ja? 20 noch eins. It's crazy. People sitting and learning Torah here. Azriel, 9-year-old, is learning Torah at 1:20 in the morning. Go figure. The power of the daf. It's not a joke.
And he flew in today from...
Yeah, flew in, the whole drive. We're not going to go into all the details. His father had 3 extra hours of fasting. We had 2 extra hours because we're in the Alps, so 10:30. But he flew at 8 o'clock in the morning. So they left at 8 o'clock. What time did you leave your house?
We left our house at 8. We walked in here for mincha at 9 p.m.
Well, I don't know the math. 12 hours. That's 12 hours. 12 hours of traveling. Wow. Nishpashat. 3 hours of driving. That's a lot. Yeah, it's a long day to get here. Wow. But the drive is magnificent. It's all in the daylight.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's crazy. Once you get to the Alps, there's 2 ways to drive, I found out. I drove a wrong way the second time, not through the Alps, like through tunnels, and you don't get to see as much. I think. I have to find out. Anyway, Waze was very confusing. They won't take you if you don't have the toll pass, and they ask you have the toll pass? So you have to tell them yes, and there's 20.
I told them yes, but I didn't have the toll pass, so they might be coming here to pick me up tomorrow morning.
I bought, because the first, did they tell you where to get it?
They told me I could get it at any Any gas station.
The first gas station, when you cross the border, you go in, it takes 3.5 minutes. Three minutes. 3 minutes in and out. You get it, you put it. I don't know how it works exactly, but hopefully we don't get tickets. Zog the Gemara. Mas Ravina. You can still come, Rabbi, you can still come. I'm here for another day. You can still, could you have a flight Friday? No, that's it. Next year. You can still come here and then enjoy, do the same thing. Okay, we said. The Sanyo, last line on Amud Aleph. The Sanyo, call you see this is real. If you have little chicks that their eyes didn't open up and you eat them, you get an Aveira for eating a sheretz, even though it's a chicken, but it's a disgusting little chicken, it's a little sheretz chicken. So says the Gemara, no, that's only Midrabanan. It's really the isser to eat a little chick with its eyes closed, not a real isser of eating sheretz, because it's not a sheretz, it's a chicken. So Midrabanan, it's also, according to this mandam, it's also Midrabanan, and you brought me a pasuk cross machad ba'alma. Okay. Sponsors. Turning to the Daf, Adar Global, the official non-corporate sponsor of the MDY League. Encore Healthcare has a schus for all of Klal Yisrael. Says the Gemara Torah Bonon, Giulei Beitzim Mutarais, Gevaldik Sugya. If you take 2 eggs, we're going to call this the treif egg, and this quail egg, we're going to call it kosher. You put them both in a pot, and you boil them together. What happens to this kosher egg? Are you allowed to eat it? Obviously, you cannot eat the treif egg ever. You can't make a treif egg kosher. But I'm asking about the kosher egg, that some of the juices of this egg travel into this egg and become treif. Says the Gemara, no. Guli beitz mutaris. You're allowed to. We just considered it water. Now, another halacha, beitzim muzarais. Those are basically the eggs that we have today. These are eggs without any male intervention, just females laying eggs, and the female sits on it. She thinks it's a real egg, so she sits. It's kind of gross. So nefesh yafat ha'ichlem, even somebody who's a little bit of an istinus, somebody that's not an istinus, could eat it. Rashi says somebody that's not an istinus, because it has a little bit of a grossness to it because she sat on it for so long. It's not like the eggs that we eat today. Now, Nimtza aleh kored dam. If you have an egg that did have a male involved, and there's blood. So in other words, the egg is fertilized. So listen to this. This will be a chiddush gadol that we didn't know before we saw this Gemara, because we're used to taking the egg and throwing it out. It says Gemara, no, zoyrek is adam. You could cut the blood out. Voichel is ashar. Now don't pass in anything based on this Gemara. It's a little bit more detailed than this. So Gemara over here says you're allowed to take the blood and get rid of it, and you're allowed to eat the egg. It's because it's on the knot. You see those little strings? That's the beginning of the formation of the embryo. And Rashi says in particular, the blood will, if it's found on the kad side, on the right side of this chart, not the left side. So if take the laser out for a second, right over here. That's what he says. There's a difference. Not over here, over here. I don't know why. He said kad, not chad. He doesn't say not chad, but he says kad. So, vushanim tal kesher shlo. Tani the story of Rebbe. I want to tell you a gewaldige story. I like the story a lot. Some of my favorite stories are about Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. So Bal Midas, always thought about the other person. So a kid comes to his house with a question about an egg, blood in an egg. And he shows it to him. So he looks at it and he says, where do you live? And the kid tells him where he lives. He thinks, he says, tell your mother it's kosher. Okay? So the kid leaves. So his Talmud says, Rebbe, why did you ask him where he lives? Why is that important? He said, because the address that he gave me is 5 blocks away. So his mother sent him 5 blocks with this egg. That means this egg is very important to her. That means she doesn't have money. She can't afford it. So that's called a hefsed meruba. If he lived in the same building down the block, okay, so it's a shekel. So I'm not gonna. But for her, that one egg is everything. So for her, she's allowed to eat it. For you, no. I had to think because this was a problematic thing. He said, "This blood, I let her eat it." Hefsed meruba. Now the question that needs to be asked is, not in the story. The story is a Gevaldige story, but in general, why do we have an issue with blood and eggs? There's really no issue. Why? Because they're not fertilized eggs. If they're not fertilized, there's no problem. The eggs that we have today, 99.9, so it's a chashash that maybe a zachar jumped in there. I mean, the way it works today, there's no zachar, there's no... What? What? What false? Not about that. No, the question is before that. How was this egg developed? If there's a zachar involved, so then the blood is real blood and etc. They go into it. Basically, I think the problem, the reason why we're makbin is because of Moshe Feinstein. The same Moshe Feinstein says that you're allowed to eat chalv stam and all that chocolate and Haagen-Dazs that we eat. Not we, they, not you. Just show him.
Not as real.
He doesn't eat chalv stam. He's more makbid than his own parents.
He is really.
He was born in Yerushalayim. He's makbid.
Yerushalayim the only makbid?
It's real. It's tzitzis, payas, makbid on chalv. It's all kol kavod.
Learns it down.
He's going to know Shas by the time he's bar mitzvah. It's a different madrega. Okay, good. I'm not encouraging eating chalav stam. So, I have no idea. How did I get the chalav stam? Oh, Moshe, who gave the heter to a lot of people to eat chalav stam, he says that you have to throw out all these eggs. It's based on him. That's the one posek that says that it's a problem. Okay. But just know that this idea that what we throw out the egg is Zera Moshe. I'm sure there's others and whatever, but that's the main source. And understand that the eggs that we have today are not fertilized, and the blood that we have is, I don't know where it comes from, but it's not from fertilization. Says the Gemara, Tani Dustoy Avua, we're 7 lines from the top. That this blood was found on the white part. In other words, the kesher on the white part. Let's see, maybe that's why he did that one. Here. It says the kesher on the white and not on the yellow. Maybe the kesher on the yolk, so he's showing the kesher, like 4 different keshers over there. I'm not familiar with those extra 2. Afilu beitza asura. In other words, the whole egg is asur. My ta'ima, why? Because now she she ruined the whole thing. There's a little blood, but that's it. It's spread, it's like a disease. It's spread everywhere. First, they told Abaye the opposite. That if it's on the yellow, then it's okay, and if it's on the white, it's not okay. And Abaye is the one that flipped it and said, if it's on the white, it's okay. If it's on the yellow, it's not okay. Omar Chizkiya. How do you know that the egg, we know that a tummy bird you're not allowed to eat, how do you know its egg is asur? So says the Gemara, I'm just marking it here, they have to start here from the Israelis. So we know bas hayana is an ostrich. But it says the daughter of a yana. In Hebrew, it's called batayana. That's the name of the bird. But the Gemara is saying, what's batayana? Bat means the daughter of. What, it has a daughter? V'chibas yeshlo liyana. A yana lays eggs. Like the famous mistake that my Chavrus always makes fun of me. I'll never forget it. I once said in the middle of Chullin, you were at the meal, what happened? You fell asleep? I didn't see you, so I was like, I was getting nervous. It was a jet lag, you know what I mean? So, who was it? Oh, that was your wife said, you better go to shir. We didn't come here for nothing. You're like, I don't care if you drove the whole day. You get that shir. Good for her. Maybe your wife also. We didn't come here for you to fress and this and that. So what if it's 1:30? Get to that chair for the last 5 minutes. Good for her. Good for you that you're here. Anyways, let's check this out. So he came perfect because now we have a Givaldic video too. The ostrich, Basayano. I have no idea what I wanted to say. Oh yeah, my chavrusa. When we were learning Chullin, I told him something about a chicken nursing. I don't know what I said. Something like just cracked, like mamish nuts. But it's like it reminds me over here. Like does a ostrich give birth? It's a bird. It doesn't give birth. It lays eggs. I said something like that. I literally said like when a chicken gives birth or when a chicken nurses, something to that effect. He always makes fun of me. Like he's like, oh yeah. Like, he should not make fun of like that because he's not the type. But he's like, sometimes you don't associate, especially me, you don't associate reality with what you're reading. Like it's like words. Like you're not, you know what I mean? Like you're saying these things and you don't chop that. Hey, there's facts and you're just saying the words without realizing the 3D picture of it. Anyway, so Basayana doesn't have a daughter. So what does Bas mean? Bas means Eleza zu beitza tmeya. It's referring to the egg of the name is Yana, and it has a daughter, meaning it has an egg, and that egg is Aser. I saw with my own eyes. I don't know how, but I was in the Jerusalem Biblical Zoo, and I saw an ostrich lay an egg. I was there with my children, and I have to find out which of my children were with me, and they witnesses as well. And it turned around, it laid an egg. It was crazy to see an ostrich laying an egg, and the egg is literally this big. It turned around, cracked it open, and started eating it. So I just asked ChatGPT today, is this normal? So this is not a normal behavior, but in the zoos, it's very normal, because they don't like they're messed up in the head. And also if it cracked, because it was on concrete, she laid it on concrete. There's like a thing. If she finds a crack in it, she will eat it. Because she doesn't want to sit, what's the word, sit on it, but what's the better word? Dogya? Incubate it and, waste her time with it. So she wants to recycle all the good protein, it says, and the whole thing, I saw that. So this Basayana, the Torah L'char is saying that her egg is tamei. As the Gemara, V'du Mahana Shemayu. Maybe that's exactly Shemayu. Maybe that's exactly their name. Maybe the name is Basayana. You see, the Torah calls it Ye'enim, a Yana by itself. The Bas is referring to the egg. This is what we have in Ramat Shemesh. You have it all over the world. We have jackals, and if you pay attention at night. Used to be much louder. Now they built a lot, but you can hear them. They scream a lot. It's you know what I'm talking? You ever hear them scream? Every 15 minutes or so. It's like.
Take off your shoe. You put it upside down, and they'll shut up. Baduk.
No way.
Baduk.
I don't believe that stuff. So they all okay. So these jackals, you have them in Yerushalayim?
No, not in the center.
Yeah, so we have them in Bet Shemesh, even though we live in this, but they live in the hills, and they just scream at each other, like they make this noise for like a minute or two, and then they're quiet for 10, 15 minutes, and then it starts all over again. The whole night, 2, 3. I like it actually. It's cool for me. It's cool to hear. It's like the wild, not coyotes, jackals. They're like the size of a dog, a small little dog, and not dangerous to humans. So this is Esa Mispei Katana. That's what it is. A tan is give a eulogy, a hesped like a jackal. Ve'evel kivnois Yana. So over here it says like the daughters of Yana. So says the Gemara. No, her name is not Kibnois Yana. It's Kiyana Zu Shemisabel Zabonel. Her name is Yana, but she's like the Yana who is in mourning over her sons. That's what it means. Give a hesped like a ostrich who's in mourning over her sons. Ask the Gemara. Oh yeah, so I have to show this. Yeah, I'll show it in a second. Once again, her name is Benois Yana. No, it's referring to her name is Yana, but she lives with her sons. Once again, we have a pasuk that her name is B'nois Yana, like in modern Hebrew, Bat Yana. She has like a double name. It's an interesting name, no? What other animals do you know have two names? It's not Ben Pil, Av Koif, Bas Koif. No, it's Kof, Pil. So the Gemara understands that Yana, her name should be one word, Yana. What's Bas Yana? If you think the word bas means the egg, beitzim bas meimar shirahi, egg can't say shira. Elksiv hayano, uksiv bas hayano. The Torah could call it yana, the Torah could call it bas yana. The pasak sifra l'shtei tevis. When a sofer writes this in the Torah, he writes it in two different words, bas, yana, and therefore the bas part means egg. That means it has two different names. In other words, the yana is the name and the bas is the egg. Let's just show this video to break it up a second.
יואו, איזה נס שהיה פה את הביצים של היען.
לא, מה פתאום? תראה את הגודל, רואים? זה ביצה של בת יענה.
לא, קוראים לציפור יען, זה ביצה של יען.
They're a vicious animal. They probably could kill a human being. They run faster than they could run away from a lion, and they have that beak. They could really do some damage. Anyway, so by the way, just as a side note, I didn't do this, but I heard that right here, you don't even have to drive far. If you take the chairlifts over here, you could see some gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. And of course, on Shabbos, we're all going to walk across the street right here to the river, and you go up a little bit, like literally across the street. There's a little bridge. And there's a waterfall, Shabbos walk. Okay, let me just finish here these two lines. Elama'ata is kedar la'omer. It's two words. The pasuk sifra b'trei. The Sofer writes it in two words. Kedar la'omer. We know it's one word. Kedar la'omer. It's one person. Amri hasam shtei tevis pasuk b'shnei shitim lo'i pasuk. Over there, you write it's two words, but you can't put those two words on two different lines. You can't put kedar on the end of one line and la'omer on the beginning of the next line. It's not two separate words. It's one name. It's like Gary Ben Moshe. Ben Moshe can't be on two different lines. It has to be together. You can put it on two different lines.
Like rebelli.
Rebelli is one word. One word. How do you spell rebelli?
Like Ben Zion is also two words. Ben Zion.
Okay, Rabbi Sai. Hold on, let's see. 1:40 in the morning. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.